Hi everyone, welcome to the Product Marketing Festival. Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you enjoy the sessions that we have lined up for you today. With expert presentations, specialist talks and deep dive panel sessions on the agenda, suffice to say, you're in for a treat. Just before we jump in, I want to take a moment to thank everyone who's played a part in making this event possible. Our sponsors, partners, speakers, presenters, and of course you, the product marketing community. You can engage with all our speakers and their sessions today by posting your questions in the comments section of the broadcast, or you can reach out to them in our Slack community. Remember, you can catch up with all this week's content on demand, plus a whole host of other amazing benefits by becoming a PMA member. And whilst you're at it, why not check out Product Marketing Core, our industry-renowned certification. But for now, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our next session.
All right, hi everybody. I'm Jonah Lopin, co-founder and CEO here at Crayon. Really psyched for the session here today, and thanks very much to PMA for putting on such a great event and for having me speak here. A little bit about me. Prior to Crayon, I studied physics. I did an MBA at MIT here in Boston and Cambridge. And then I was on the management team of a company called HubSpot from zero to the IPO. HubSpot's a $24 billion market cap now, so many of you are probably familiar with that company. I've got two little kids, a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old, as well as a couple of kittens. And so some combination of those very well may make an appearance here on the video, or you'll hear them in the background. So apologies in advance for that. But when I'm not building Crayon, or thinking about competitive intelligence, I'm hanging out with the kids. So that's a little bit about me. A little bit about Crayon. We are a venture-backed competitive intelligence software company. So Crayon is the competitive intelligence backbone for mid-market and enterprise. Just announced our $22 million Series B about a month ago. I've got about 100 folks in the company, global team, but epicenter here in Boston. And of course, what we're most proud of is that we do outrank Crayola for the word crayon in Google. So we're very proud of that fact. And that'll be my only attempt at humor. So we've delivered 81 million insights in our platform over the past few years to over 500 mid-market enterprise customers. Okay, and we've learned a lot about competitive intelligence in that process. So my goal today is really to increase your chances of success with competitive by sharing a lot of the learnings and insights and ideas, that have come out of serving our customers, as we've built the company. So enough about me. Let's talk about all of you. Right? So how many of you just love a good old-fashioned manual CI process, right? How many of you just wake up every day, just raring to go and do a whole bunch of, web research on your competitors, or maybe sift through a bunch of Google alerts, and then, get real crazy after lunch and maybe, manually update, a bunch of PDF battle cards, right? For a long, long time, for decades, okay, CI has been, largely a human-driven process, a human-driven discipline. So whether you, have had a team inside your company that does competitive, or whether you, outsource this to a research firm or a consulting firm, it's just always been, a very manual, human-driven, effort. And the process, the problem there is, very expensive to generate insights when humans are doing all of the work. And then the even bigger problem is that a lot of the insights that you do get really lag the market, right? Often by weeks or months. And so that traditionally, by the time you get competitive insights to your product team, to your sales team, to your executive team, they're just not very timely and often just aren't, therefore very actionable, very impactful, right? But what if competitive intelligence could be programmatic, right? What if it could be cheap and real time, right? What if we could generate insight with software, at a fraction of the cost and have those insights be real time, such that far more actionable, far more impactful inside your business, right? Reality is there's just a much better way to compete in 2021 by transitioning, from really a manual CI process to a software-driven process. Okay. And so the opportunity that we all have in competitive intelligence is really to think big and take a hard swing, right? And go out and try to build, a program that is, 10 times the value, 10 times the impact of what's traditionally been possible, right? What we've traditionally been capable of at CI. And so what I'm going to sort of dig into next in the discussion here is, some of the things to think about, some of the things to prioritize if you want to go do this, right? If you want to go build, a modern CI program that's designed for 10x the value, 10x the impact, how do you go do that? All right, so first thing you want to sort of think about is building a backbone across your business, right? That serves every department in the business, not just your sales team, not just your customer success team, right? We run the largest competitive intelligence industry survey every year at Crayon called the State of Competitive Intelligence. And one of the things that's been a sort of a consistent finding over the years is that most businesses really put sort of equal weighting on the importance of serving a range of stakeholder departments. Okay, there's value to create your sales team, right? For sure, and you can drive, your win rates and your other sales dynamics. But there's a lot of value to be created, in your marketing team to drive differentiation and execute better campaigns, right? In your product team, how do you make better roadmap decisions and bring products to market more quickly, right? And your executive team needs, competitive insight. So what you want to think about in building your CI backbone is really building something that serves the entire company and has a wide impact sort of across departments. Okay, and as you set out to do that, right, you really need to solve for and kind of be thoughtful about the differences among those stakeholder groups, right? So they say when you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail, right? So I've heard. And we really cannot be hammers in competitive intelligence, right? You can't go put a battle card in front of your CEO, right? But of course, that same battle card, very, very useful, for your sales team, right? So each department, each audience, really has sort of different intelligence and analysis needs, and you're going to reach them with different sort of distribution mechanisms. Right. So from an intelligence and analysis standpoint, executives tend to look for, higher level, more curated intelligence, right? Maybe trying to understand the competitive dynamics related to a couple of big, initiatives that they're focused on, right? Contrasted with, sales and customer success, who often need much more granular information, and are okay with less sophisticated analysis, but they really value the timeliness, right? They really want to get that information in real time, right? And then from a sort of an outputs and distribution standpoint, right? Executives largely need, bespoke deliverables, right? That you're gonna kind of push out via email, whereas, sales and customer success, much more about battle cards and real-time alerts and win-loss information. And then much more pull versus push, right? You want to reach sales and customer success, you know, inside the CRM, inside the sales enablement platform, you know, inside of chat, right at the moment when they need that information to advance a deal, right? So much more pull versus push. And then product and marketing, you know, on all these fronts are sort of, you know, somewhere in the middle, right? So key point is you've really got to think this through, and you cannot, you know, just be a hammer in how you approach this. Now, no matter which audiences you're serving inside your business, and I hope it comes across on the video, this next comment in the most generous and helpful spirit in which I intend it, but we all got to speed this up. Guys and gals, as an industry, we need to speed the CI thing up, right? There is a heartbeat in every market. There's a heartbeat in every business. And if you want to have an impact in CI, you have got to accelerate, right, the pace of what you're doing to match, you know, the pace of your business and the pace of your market, right? And in practice, what that means is, you know, you've got to get to a daily, you know, or at least a weekly cadence for how, you know, for engaging your stakeholders, right? Really fascinating data from the state of CI on the slide there, right? Which is that teams who accelerate their cadence of engaging stakeholders from monthly or longer to daily, you know, are more than twice as likely to report, you know, that they're having a revenue impact. Right, so there's 2x of our 10x, you know, program impact right there, right, just around the cadence. So now you're probably thinking, okay, Jonah, you know, easier said than done, right? And I do get that a lot. And you're right, right? If you're gonna, you know, serve a range of stakeholders across the business, right, each of which has diverse needs. And you're going to tighten up the loop on your CI, right, and make your CI faster twitch. You're going to have to find ways to get leverage in this process, right? You cannot just pedal faster to go and achieve that, because nobody can pedal that fast, right? So how do you go off and do that? So one of the, you know, really important ways that you can get sort of leverage in your CI process is using, you know, workflow and automation. Okay, so as intelligence, you know, comes across, you know, daily, right? Whether it's, you know, intelligence that's been submitted by folks around the company, right? Field intelligence, or whether it's, you know, won or lost, you know, competitive deals that just closed out in your CRM system, or maybe it's news or some information from the digital footprint of a business, of a competitor, right? As this intel comes in, you want to have an efficient process for handling that, okay? And two big goals to that daily process, okay? First one is, you know, we're building our CI database here, okay? So we want to discuss the new intelligence as it comes in. We're going to stamp the sort of takeaway, the so what and the what next right on the insight. We're going to add notes and labels and keywords so that we can find and reference that intelligence later, right? So the point is, we're pre-processing intelligence and building this CI database to really speed up our ability to handle ad hoc requests, you know, which inevitably come in, right? Second goal of this sort of daily process is really to kick off downstream actions and distribution, right? So some of the intelligence that comes in, you know, sort of just needs to be kind of understood and archived for later, and that's great, right? It stays in your CI database and sort of becomes searchable. But if it rises to the level, right, if something rises to the level of needing to be, you know, acted on right away, or just needing to be visible, right, in a battle card or to your product team or on a marketing dashboard that you've built, right, or in Slack, you want to be able to touch that, you know, piece of information once and have it automatically publish all the places where it should go, right? So essentially, you want to serve as this kind of very efficient filter between, new intelligence flowing in and then what gets distributed out, and visible to stakeholders. Okay, this is one of the really key things you want to get in place if you're going to do much faster twitch, intel processing and kind of get in sync, with your stakeholders there. Okay, so one of the places that you really feel the heartbeat, right, in your business is in Slack and Teams. So a couple of quick hits to kind of think about here. First one, sort of best practice is really think about separating out, the CI discussion from whatever channel it's currently happening inside of if you don't have a dedicated CI channel yet, right? So best practice is really pull the CI conversation out to its own channel, both to elevate the CI conversation, but also to, streamline the sales channel or whatever, whatever channel housed that conversation in the past. Okay, second thing you want to think about is, now that we've got this channel pulled out and sort of elevated, let's jump in and spark a couple of kind of action-oriented discussions every week, right? Hey, we found this insight, here's why it matters and what it means, and try to generate some discussion, on that intel, especially around the actions that need to kind of go get taken, right? So what you're doing here is trying to teach folks, hey, the CI team is here. If you're in a tough selling situation or you're making a product decision, you need help with competitive, there's a channel you can go to, there's a team you can go to, who's ready to engage and ready to help you there. All right, and then the final one on Slack and Teams is really strongly suggest that you consider a kind of a no link dumping rule, okay? Because it's very, very common and very natural for folks to sort of drop links to news articles or other things that they've found in Slack, but not really add any insight or conclusion, right, of what that means for the business. And so, when someone drops a link in Slack, what we've seen work with our customers is, start a thread and sort of say, okay, very interesting, thank you for sharing. What do you think this means for your role, right? What do you think this means for the business? And try to tease out the insight, right, through a dialogue with whoever shared that. And then once you've done that, push the insight, right? Push the takeaway or the actions to the CI database, right? So then folks can see, inside of Slack or Teams that what you push to the database and what you've archived isn't the link, to the resource, but it's the insight, right? And you're starting to, educate folks that, look, the CI team, we don't push news, we push insights that you can act on, right? What we do is, let's elevate the CI practice so everybody understands what we do is about insight and action, not about, collecting links, right? And as you engage your stakeholders, right, in whatever format you engage them, you want to remember that this is a two-way conversation. Okay, so it's not just about you pushing insight out. It's also about the fact that stakeholders are often your number one source of intelligence, right, flowing back into the team. Right, so state of competitive intelligence, this year we found that 52% of businesses reported field intelligence as extremely valuable, more than any other source. Right, so just very important to remember that CI is really a two-way conversation, and you want to make it very easy for folks to submit intelligence to you, from a whole bunch of channels, so you can pull that into your CI database, pull that into this backbone that you're building across the company. Okay, so we've talked a lot so far about automation, right, and process and workflow, but let's not forget the humans, right? Let's not forget that your stakeholders are, people, right? Who are in teams, who are, trying to do their jobs and get stuff done. And I think that the single biggest, mistake that CI teams make is they just don't deliver quite what people on the other end of their process are really looking for. And that's why I love this quote that's sort of attributed to Mark Twain on the slide, because it's such a great reminder that you should really be finding ways to, ask your stakeholders what they're looking for, and what they want you to do next, and really validating your thinking there. I mean, half the time, I think you've got your sort of top 5 things that you think you need to go do for your sales team, right? But if you actually ask your sales team, what they want, very often, they come back with 1 or 2 things that either weren't on your list or they were a little bit further down your list, right? And so you want to take the time to go out and engage the folks in product, in marketing, in sales, pop a survey, join their monthly meeting, grab a virtual coffee with folks, or an in-person coffee if you're at that point, and just make sure that you're really engaging and understanding what are these folks asking you to do so that you can go deliver that. I think all the best CI teams do this, and it's very simple, but it's also very critical, very impactful. Right? But of course, it's not enough, right? Not enough just to deliver the goods. You got to make it super easy for folks to come and access your intelligence, right? If there's friction for folks to get the goods, they just aren't going to come get it. And so you've got to make your CI very, very easy to access. And typically what that means is, implement SSO, right? Single sign-on, to reduce friction around the sign up and login process, and then meet your users in the systems that they already use every day. Right. So for sales, you want to be in HighSpot, in Salesforce, right? Or whatever, sales enablement, CRM, stack that you use. For executives, you want to be in Confluence, in SharePoint, in wherever they consume their, information, right? Don't ask folks to install a new iPhone app. Don't ask folks to, install a new Chrome extension, right? Too much friction, very, very unlikely that folks are gonna really, install those. If you want to get your intelligence used, make it very, very easy to access with minimal friction, minimal behavior change is really key here. The other thing to consider in terms of the humans on the other end of your CI process is really enabling folks to self-serve on this intelligence, right? When it comes to your solution engineers, your social media team, your product managers, right? You can and should teach a lot of these folks to fish. So one of the things that we've seen, the best CI teams do is really go out and train individuals and teams on how to self-serve, right? Recruit those folks to be part of your kind of extended CI network, right? If you can go find the evangelists, the people who really live and breathe, why we're winning and losing in our market, or just the folks who have a deep need for competitive intelligence and are sufficiently technical, just invite those folks in, right? Show them how to search for intelligence, show them how to, give you feedback or update a battle card, right? And it doesn't work for every audience, right? You're not gonna likely invite your executive team to be part of the process. But as you look around at your stakeholders, one of the things you really should be thinking about is who can we train, which individuals and teams can we train to self-serve and really sort of recruit to be part of our CI process. It's a really powerful way to get leverage as a CI team. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about your battle cards here. So on the quantity side, okay, how many battle cards should you build? The answer is fewer than you might think. Okay, so one pretty fascinating statistic from our customers here at Crayon is that the average number of battle cards per competitor across our enterprise clients is 2.5, right? Not 25, not 100, 2.5. And that 2.5, average is across companies like ZoomInfo, Dropbox, Jamf, HubSpot, right? So, large companies, with thousands and thousands of sales reps. The fact is, when you've got 20 battle cards, or 50, or tens of pages of wiki content, right, for your sales team, nobody can find what they're looking for, right? And so a lot of times these battle cards or all this competitive content, just doesn't get used, doesn't get adopted, right? So what a lot of our best customers are doing is moving toward a much more streamlined and consolidated, simple experience for their sales reps as a lever to drive adoption, right? So that they can go to their sales team and say, look, this is more concise, more consolidated, much more effective set of battle cards. And you can actually find what you're looking for, right? Because there's 2.5, there's 2 and not, 20. On the quality side of your battle cards, some of the most trafficked and popular battle card tiles across our customers are, automated win-loss tiles, so that your sales folks can learn and pattern match, across competitive deals. Automated leaderboard tiles, so that reps can, find the folks with the best win record versus a particular competitor, so they can engage and learn from those folks. Field intelligence tiles, because reps are always, hungry for the latest kind of learnings from other sales folks. And then of course, every tile has got to be, up to date as the market moves, right? So that reps, really trust the material, right? So to build a great, battle card program, what we've seen, the best practice is really, a streamlined, consolidated set of very high impact, high quality battle cards that can get great adoption and usage across your team. Okay, so if you're doing competitive intelligence in 2021, right, and you're building a modern CI program, you've got to measure and prove your impact, right? State of competitive intelligence, we found that teams with defined KPIs, okay, are 3 times more likely to report revenue impact, right? And that, so again, 3x is a good chunk of your 10x that you're trying to 10x your impact here. Traditional CI has been very hard to measure, right, for a long, long time. But now that this is software driven, you really can measure who is engaging with CI across the company and how are those engagements translating into better outcomes, right? Especially for your sales team, where CI impact is kind of uniquely measurable, just because the entire loop, is happening inside of the sales enablement platform and the CRM, but really across every department in the business, even outside of sales, measurement is a big part of sort of competing with software in 2021. Okay. So final thought here is, do not wait, do not sit on the sidelines, right? Lots of companies are, still figuring out how to do competitive intelligence in a modern way, right? So that means you can be early to the party, right? You can be the first in your market to build a 10x CI program and really help your company, seize competitive advantage. So let's go do it. And of course, we would love to partner with you on that journey and help any way we can. And so lots of ways to engage with us. You can subscribe to our blog. You can head to our website and request a demo, or you can run a free competitive landscape report. We would love to talk with you about how we can help you, build a 10x CI program and take the 10x CI leap with Crayon. So that's it, everybody. If you've got questions or you want to reach me, please find me on LinkedIn. I'm at Jonah Lopin on Twitter, jonah@crayon.co. If you want to send me email, I'd love to field questions or engage there. Thanks, everybody. Have a great summer.